Thank you for taking a few minutes to listen in for assessment-related updates. This is Dr. Charity Flores, Director of Assessment for the Indiana Department of Education. You can follow me on Twitter or send an email if you have specific questions. I also included contact information for Mary Williams, overseeing the ILEARN implementation for 2017-18 and into 18-19. I want to take a few minutes to highlight changes for 17-18 based on your feedback to improve the program and look ahead for 18-19. First, corporations are increasing participation in Part 1 online to ready themselves to the expectations for ILEARN in 18-19. We are also emphasizing common issues through CTC and examiner training to minimize undetermined results. These include changes in the system to manage calculator sessions, student transfer process, and increased flexibility for examiners to access materials in advance of the test administration to become more familiar. We also increased on-site monitoring for 2017-18 to ensure fidelity of the test administration windows. Common irregularities include accommodations delivery, utilizing standard protocols, and avoiding coaching and the review of responses by educators. Our office recently posted several new resources noted here to increase transparency related to the assessment. The Grade 10 blueprints allow for educators to better understand the points allocated to a given standard and reporting category to inform instruction and remediation. These are posted on the assessment page under Blueprints. The specifications are a complementary document to the blueprints, which further delineate the type of evidence the items will elicit from a student to confirm mastery of the content. Depth of knowledge, content limits, and sample item stems are also provided. The remaining time on this video will be spent on the ILEARN assessment. Our goal is to provide timely updates as policy decisions are defined and as decisions are made with the vendor. ILEARN provides a unique opportunity to refresh the assessment delivery and implementation practices in Indiana. The time in between contract execution and delivery allows schools and corporations to integrate a thoughtful transition to the new assessment program. When formalizing the requirements for a new vendor, IDOE applied several lessons learned from the history of I-STEP implementation. IDOE requested a vendor with a reputable delivery platform and at least 5 years in the industry delivering summative assessments. Indiana will leverage existing quality items aligned to Indiana standards. IDOE will incorporate new tools and student supports, including glossaries and translations. Reporting will be more timely beginning in 2019-20 once standard setting has occurred. American Institutes for Research, also known as AIR, was identified as the selected vendor following the procurement process managed by the Indiana Department of Administration. AIR currently serves as a prime contractor in 22 states and as a subcontractor in 3 states with their delivery platform. ILEARN will be computer adaptive across content areas where quality item banks can be leveraged. The adaptive algorithm adapts on item difficulty for each student while delivering an on-grade level assessment and fulfilling the blueprint requirements. The contract is beginning with the development of grades 3 through 8, while final policies related to high school are being defined. Reflective of new blueprints, test times for students are likely to decrease by 1 to 2 hours. Following the first administration, reports will be made available immediately for iRead 3 and within 12 days for ILEARN. In the coming months, educators will review items from the licensed banks to confirm alignment. The next 2 slides highlight 2 examples of non-secure items that educators will review as part of this process. For ELA, the opportunity to consider text differently and synthesize and draft responses more authentically will be available for Indiana educators to consider in relationship to the new assessment. IDOE is working closely with AIR to reduce burden on corporations, schools, and classroom educators. These reductions include improvements in data collection, session-less testing, including eliminating test tickets, streamlined technology setup, and consolidation of test windows into a single window at the end of the school year. Educators are involved in the formulation of the new assessment from the ground up. The standards were developed with educators in 2014 and 2016 for science. Blueprints and specifications will be formalized this winter, which define the content, reporting categories, and associated priorities for the content to be assessed. The item audit with educators will soon follow to confirm the alignment of the items from the licensed bank in relationship to our Indiana standards. Any new development needed will occur in April through June and reviewed by educators in the summer of 2018. Once items are delivered, educators will review statistical flags to inform which items should continue to be used operationally. A new process step for educators to play a critical role in the new assessment program is the scoring of student responses. We hope to recruit 3 to 4 educators from each corporation to assist in the scoring process in 2019 and beyond. In the summer of 2019, educators will determine the proficiency levels for ILEARN based on the content presented to students and the associated items. Again, educators are critical to the success of our new ILEARN assessment program. Thanks again for taking the time to listen in on these critical updates. If you have questions as we transition, please do not hesitate to reach out to our office. Thank you.